Welcome to Survival Foods and Foraging Nature's Grocery Store, right here on YouTube. Learn to survive on what nature provides. Respect the environment and find everything you need. This knowledge could save your life. It's about survival. Identify, harvest, and prepare wild foods. Let's learn to thrive in the wild. Unleash your inner survivor. Let's kick things off with a plant so common you've probably walked all over it. The dandelion. You see that bright yellow flower in your garden? That's not a weed, it's dinner. But before you eat, make sure it's the right plant. Look for jagged, tooth-like leaves. Dandelion, meaning lion's tooth in French. You'll find them everywhere. Gardens, fields, even pavement cracks. Ensure your dandelion is pesticide-free. We want nutritious, not toxic. Now that we've identified our dandelions, it's time to turn these into a proper meal. Every part is edible: root, leaves, and flower. Young leaves are best eaten raw in salads, or sauté them with a bit of wild garlic. The flowers make a pleasant tea. Steep in hot water and add honey. Start with small amounts to see how your body reacts. Harvest roots in autumn. Roast them for a caffeine-free coffee substitute. Packed with vitamins and minerals, dandelions are a survivor's best friend. Let's explore a fantastic wild edible, the cattail. These tall, reedy plants thrive around freshwater marshes, lakes, and ponds, recognizable by their unique brown cigar-shaped flower heads. That's your dinner bell right there. Remember, safety first. Be wary of slippery banks and lurking dangers. Younger plants are more tender and palatable. Feel the leaves, long, slender, and smooth. Cattails have a unique, slightly sweet aroma. Once you've got a good whiff, you'll know you've struck gold. Cattails are like nature's supermarket. Let's dive into harvesting and preparing these swamp superstars. Cattails offer a year-round food source. In spring, harvest young shoots. They taste like cucumber and asparagus. Boil or sauté them. In summer, collect pollen from flower heads. Shake the stalk over a bag. Use pollen as flour or in soups. Harvest starchy rhizomes for carbohydrates. Roast or grind them into flour. Cattails are the kings and queens of the swamp. We've talked about the dandelion, the versatile cattail, but now let's sniff out another wild edible, the wild onion. These pungent little bulbs pack a serious flavor punch and can be a real morale booster when you're out in the thick of it. Now, you won't find these growing on trees, obviously. Look for damp soil, often near streams or in meadows. The telltale sign, that unmistakable oniony aroma. Give the air a good sniff. Your nose is your best friend out here. Remember, we're after the bulb, the white part underground. Brush away the dirt and you'll see what I mean. Just be sure to leave some bulbs undisturbed. We need to respect nature's pantry and let it replenish. Right, let's talk about how to make sure it's a real wild onion and not some imposter trying to trick you. Look for hollow, grass-like leaves and that distinct onion smell. If it smells like onion, it probably is one. If it doesn't, steer clear. Once you've got a handful of wild onions, give them a good rinse in a stream or with your water supply. We don't want any gritty surprises later on. Now, you can eat these bad boys raw, and believe me, that sharp, oniony bite can be incredibly refreshing. But if you've got the time and resources, why not elevate your wilderness dining experience? A small fire, a flat rock, and you've got yourself a wilderness griddle. Slice those onions up and toss them on the hot stone for a bit of char and a mellowed flavor. Wild onions can also add a flavor punch to other foraged finds. Imagine this, a dandelion salad with a sprinkle of roasted wild onions. Gourmet wilderness dining right there. Remember, improvisation is key in the wild, so get creative and see what culinary masterpieces you can create. And there you have it, another feather in your foraging cap. Remember, knowledge is power out here, and knowing your wild onions from your, well, non-onions could be the difference between a tasty meal and a nasty surprise. The wilderness is a sensory playground, and few things signal its bounty quite like the vibrant hues of wild berries. From the deep purples of huckleberries to the bright reds of raspberries, these juicy gems are a feast for the eyes. But not all berries are your friend. Some can be downright dangerous. Knowledge is power. Familiarize yourself with the local flora. A good field guide can be your best friend. Okay, so you found a berry bush that looks promising and you're pretty sure it's safe. But remember, caution is our watchword. Before you go popping them into your mouth, we need to do a little test. This could be the difference between a tasty treat and a very upset stomach. First, crush a berry near your skin, ideally on the inside of your wrist. Wait for about 15 minutes. Any itching, burning or redness? If so, it's a no-go. Your body is sending you a clear message. This berry is not your friend. Assuming your skin is happy, we can move on to the next stage. Take a small bite of the berry, chew it but don't swallow. Hold it in your mouth for a few minutes, paying close attention to any adverse reactions. If all systems are go, swallow that tiny bite and wait a good 8 hours. Still feeling fine? Congratulations, you found yourself a safe and delicious source of energy. Now go ahead and enjoy those berries. You've earned it. We've explored the bounty of the land, but now it's time to cast our net wider to the lifeblood of the planet water. Rivers, lakes and streams are teeming with protein-packed meals just waiting to be caught. And trust me, nothing beats the primal satisfaction of catching your own dinner. But before we channel our inner Aquaman, we need to learn to read the water. Fish are masters of camouflage, blending seamlessly with their surroundings. Look for movement, ripples on the surface, or shadows darting beneath the water. These are all telltale signs that there's a meal to be had. Remember, fish are creatures of habit. They like to hang out in areas where the current is slower, providing them with a bit of respite from the constant flow. Look for deeper pools, areas sheltered by rocks or fallen logs, or bends in the river where the water slows down. And keep an eye out for insect activity. If you see dragonflies flitting about or swarms of midges dancing above the water, chances are there are hungry fish lurking beneath the surface, ready to pounce on an unsuspecting insect. Now that we've found our fishy friends, it's time to reel them in. There are countless ways to catch a fish, but out here in the wild, simplicity is key. One of the most effective methods is spearfishing. Find yourself a sturdy stick, sharpen one end to a point, and you've got yourself a spear. Now this takes practice, patience, and a keen eye. Remember, water refracts light, making the fish appear closer than it actually is. Aim slightly below your target for the best chance of success. If spearfishing isn't your style, fear not. We can improvise a fishing rod using materials found in nature. A flexible branch, some twine or strong plant fibers, and a hook fashioned from a bone or a sharpened thorn, and you're good to go. Bait your hook with insects, worms, or even small pieces of meat if you have them. Cast your line, be patient, and wait for that telltale tug. And remember, when you do land your catch, thank the creature for its sacrifice. It's a humbling and essential part of survival. Right, so you're out in the wild, hunger gnawing at your stomach like a badger in a burrow. We need to find some protein, and fast. Small game is what we're after. Rabbits, squirrels, those sorts of chaps. Remember, these animals are masters of camouflage, blending into their surroundings like shadows. Look for signs of life tracks in the mud, droppings near tree roots, disturbed vegetation. These are the telltale clues that lead us to our next meal. Remember, we're not just hunters out here, we're trackers, detectives of the wild. We need to think like our prey, anticipate their movements. Where there's one rabbit, there are often more. They're sociable creatures, these rabbits, living in warrens underground. Squirrels, on the other hand, prefer the high ground, leaping from branch to branch. We need to adapt our approach depending on our target. Keep your eyes peeled and your senses sharp. The wilderness whispers its secrets to those who listen. We're not just surviving out here, we're thriving, living off the land and respecting the balance of nature. Now you've managed to bag yourself a rabbit, well done. But the work isn't over yet. We need to prepare it, and quickly. Hygiene is paramount in the wild. We don't want any nasty surprises from bacteria. First, we skin the rabbit, carefully removing the fur and entrails. Remember, these can be used later. The fur for insulation, the entrails for bait. Waste not, want not, that's my motto. Now build a fire. A good strong fire is essential for cooking the meat thoroughly. We can roast the rabbit on a spit or cut it into smaller pieces for a stew. Add some wild herbs and plants for flavor if you can find them. A bit of dandelion greens or wild garlic can make all the difference. Remember, we're not just surviving out here, we're dining. And there you have it, a hearty meal fit for a king or at least a very hungry adventurer. Small game, properly prepared, can provide you with the energy and nutrients you need to survive in the wild. Remember, it's not about brute force, it's about using your knowledge and skills to make the most of what nature provides. The early bird catches the worm, or so they say. Well, out here, the resourceful survivor catches the bird. Birds are a fantastic source of protein, and their presence often indicates a healthy ecosystem. But they're a flighty bunch, so we need to be smart. First things first, identification. Not all birds are created equal. Some, like pigeons and doves, are relatively easy to catch, while others, like hawks and eagles, are best admired from a distance. Look for smaller birds, foraging on the ground or in low bushes. Listen out for their calls. Each species has its own unique song, a melody of the wild. Learn these songs and you'll be able to identify birds without even seeing them. Remember, we're not just hunters, we're naturalists, students of the wild. Follow their flight paths. Birds are creatures of habit, often following the same routes between feeding grounds and nesting sites. Observe their patterns, anticipate their movements, and you'll be one step ahead. Now that we've tracked our feathered friends, it's time to set a trap. A simple snare trap is a reliable method. Use a thin, strong cord made from natural fibers, like plant vines or animal sinew. Fashion a loop, secure it to a branch, and position it along a bird's flight path. Patience is key. We need to wait for the bird to fly into the snare, trapping itself. Once caught, act quickly and humanely to dispatch the bird. It's never easy, but remember, we're doing what we must to survive. Once you've plucked and cleaned the bird, it's time to cook. A small fire is all you need. Skewer the bird on a stick and roast it over the flames, or wrap it in leaves and bury it in the embers for a slower cook. Remember, every part of the bird can be used. The feathers can be used for insulation or even for fletching arrows. Waste not, want not. That's the way of the wild. Now I know what you're thinking. Insects? Really, Bear? But trust me on this one. Insects are nature's little powerhouses, packed with protein, vitamins and minerals. They're eaten all over the world, and for good reason. Think of it like this. You're not eating a bug, you're eating a miniature survival pack. Grasshoppers, crickets, even ants. They're all fair game in the wild. And the best part, they're usually abundant and easy to catch. Look for grasshoppers and crickets in meadows and grasslands. They're attracted to light, so you can often find them near your camp at night. Ants can be found under rocks and logs or marching in long lines towards their nests. Don't be squeamish now. We're adventurers, survivors. We need to push our boundaries, embrace the unfamiliar. Remember, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, or at least less hungry. Catching insects is usually a straightforward affair. You can simply pluck them from the air or off the ground. A net, even a makeshift one made from a branch in your t-shirt, can be surprisingly effective. Once you've gathered a good handful, it's time to prepare them for cooking. Remove any wings or legs that might get stuck in your teeth. And here's a little trick. Roasting insects over a fire helps to neutralize any bitter flavors. You can skewer them on a stick and roast them like marshmallows, or toss them into a pot of boiling water for a quick and easy snack. They add a nice crunch to stews and soups. Remember, survival is about adaptation, about using your ingenuity and resourcefulness to overcome any obstacle. And sometimes that means embracing the unexpected, even if it means adding a few crunchy critters to your diet. We're deep in the wilderness now and our stomachs are growling. Finding sustenance is critical, and luckily nature provides. We're on the hunt for eggs today. Birds are masters of camouflage, tucking their nests away skillfully. Scan the environment for nests. Look for low-hanging branches, dense bushes, or ground nests in undergrowth. Birds often build nests near food and water sources. Keep your eyes peeled near rivers and areas with plenty of insects. Approach nests with caution. We don't want to startle the mother bird or damage the eggs. Look for signs of recent activity, like fresh droppings or feathers around the base of the tree. Before climbing a tree, remember, not all eggs are created equal. Identify the eggs to ensure they're safe for consumption. Duck, goose, and some larger bird eggs are usually safe bets, but always err on the side of caution. If you're unsure, it's best to move on and find another source of food. Remember, survival is about minimizing risk, and that means knowing your eggs. Found a nest with eggs? Remember to cook them thoroughly. Raw eggs can harbor bacteria. Build a fire with dry tinder and kindling. Use a sparker or bow drill. Patience is key. Ethically, never take more than half the eggs. Respect nature's balance. Take only what you need. Now let's get these eggs cooked up. We've talked about foraging for plants and insects, but sometimes you need a more substantial protein source. That's where trapping comes in handy. One of the simplest and most effective traps is the deadfall trap. It relies on gravity to do the heavy lifting. Find a large heavy rock or log. Build a trigger mechanism with sticks. Placement is everything. Practice makes perfect. If you're near a water source, fishing can be an excellent way to secure a meal. With a bit of ingenuity, we can still reel in a tasty catch. Spearfishing is primitive but effective. Sharpen a sturdy branch to a point. Use a rock to hone the point. Aim below your target due to light refraction. Patience and timing are key. Let the river work its wonder. Well, there you have it, folks. We've covered a lot of ground literally in our search for nature's bounty. From identifying edible plants to building traps and snaring a catch, we've explored some essential survival skills that could one day save your life. Remember, nature provides, but it's up to us to respect its power and learn its secrets. Always be cautious, be prepared, and never underestimate the importance of knowledge when venturing into the wild. Stay curious, stay observant, and never stop learning. Thanks for joining me on this adventure through nature's grocery store. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more survival tips and tricks. And as always, stay safe and happy foraging.